So you're a CA and a CF. Yeah. My mother's only and only worry was that if you're studying so much, none of the Marwari boys actually study so much. So please stop.
I was a gold medalist throughout my medical journey. I mean, people around me used to ask me that, khana bana lo, ghar ko saja lo, and I was doing it all, but that didn't give me the satisfaction. Eventually, I think life works out, right? And so coaching came my way.
I am the only girl child from the family who joined the business. I was also one of the first ones to step out to study.
I was very clear that I wanted to work. Of course, naturally, it would mean working in the family business because Marwari bahus weren't really allowed to step out. किसी और के लिए काम नहीं करना है.
For male members of a business family, especially if you come from a legacy heritage, you have some sort of a set thing. At least you get trained in that. And then it's up to you to say, okay, how ambitious am I to grow it? Yahan pe you're never trained. You're just kind of expected to figure out what are you going to do with your life.
The male members, if you see, they never say that it's my father's business. They would never refer it to that. But we women, having worked all years, we are still at the end of our careers, still refer it. I was working at my husband's company.
Yeah.
I wouldn't term it as my husband's business. Right. Because if I'm working in that business, it's my business, period.
My aunt told this to me. Stop referring it to as your family business or your dad's business or your husband's business. It is your business. You have contributed enough to call it your own. Start believing it is yours for it to actually become yours.
Hi. I'm Shruti Agrawal, producer and founder at Red Raga, a corporate storytelling house that has worked with over 200 businesses across India, shaping their legacies through film. In this series, we are going to talk about women and their role in legacy building in a complex structure where it needs to be talked about like never before. We are delighted to have our first guest today, Priyanka Tibrewala, a life coach and parenting guide, who comes from a family that built a successful medical empire in the US and now running Amerix Cancer Hospital in India. Married into the Roha Dye Chem, a global leader in food ingredients and dyes, Priyanka bridges legacy, leadership, and healing. We are so glad to have her voice at the table today. Our second guest today is Payal Agarwal Seksaria, an all-India rank-holding CA and CFA, who started her journey in her father's iconic brand, Amul Hosiery. After a short stint at KPMG, she joined her family business on her husband's side, G Limited, where she now heads finance at the listed engineering firm, all while being a hands-on mom of 3, a true multitasker with heart and hustle.
Our third guest today is Nikita Byani,
a sharp and thoughtful businesswoman leading key initiatives at her father's company, Asian Market Securities. She's driving succession planning, global alignment, and diversification. Married into the SBL Color Tech family, Nikita brings together 2 strong legacies and is helping shape the future of both.
3, 2, 1, go.
So Priyanka, I've heard that you've been an MBBS doctor and coming from a family business of your father's side, and then from your husband's side also, you've been doing completely different things. So tell us about that.
I was born in the US and I spent about 17 years of my life in Southern California. I come from a business family, but a medical business. So my dad and my uncles, they are all doctors by profession. And all of us were very academically pushed and inclined, and it was kind of taken for granted that we are all going to become doctors, which happened. So I think that was, it was a very strong upbringing that we got. And my father somehow was subconsciously, I think, preparing all of us to come back and live in India, which we didn't know at the time, But when we came to India to do our medicine, at that time, he started to kind of prepare me, saying that I want to get you married in India. And we come from a traditional background. So, arranged marriage was the only way to go at that time. And I said, okay. And he said, you're a good student, so complete your medicine. Don't leave it in between. But I don't know if you'll be pursuing medicine or not. Aage chal. It really depends on where you get married. And I think we were very groomed into the whole concept of ki theek hai, jaise bola gaya, waise karna. And, I just kept going. And I was a gold medalist throughout my medical journey. And shortly after I completed, I got engaged in a business family in Bombay. And I came to know that I would not be really pursuing medicine as a profession, because medicine would entail another 6 years of studies outside of India and, a lot more, which wouldn't really gel in with the family structure here.
Okay, so there was no kind of a, disappointment, a little bit of a resentment that, oh, I studied so much and now this is not going to be used anywhere.
There was a phase after marriage where I was just trying to figure out, now what do I do? Where I felt that void, because the skills I had were not applicable directly, and acquiring a new skill meant, going back to the drawing board. So those couple of years were tough.
How was the family set up in terms of your siblings? Like, you had brothers, right? So how were they being groomed, or how were they being trained?
So, it was very straightforward how it happens in Marwari, that the brothers are going to be joining the medical business that they had. And so they were being groomed in a way that, you have to study and you have to get a degree, and tomorrow you're going to have to run the hospital. And the girls were being groomed in a way that, tumhari shaadi karni hai, and what are the skills and the, characteristics that you need. So I think it was very clear-cut at that point of time.
Did you have any kind of a dream career when you were growing up, and was medical really your first choice?
I don't think I ever dreamed actually as a child. I think it was always very set ki medicine mein hi jana. Like, I don't think I ever dreamt of something else. After marriage, I kind of tried to figure out different things, did a couple of courses here and there, and eventually I think life works out, right? And so coaching came my way for personal development, and I started to enjoy it. I realized it's something I'm good at, and that's how I started, I just kind of got into that space.
But before that, moving on to Payal, again, a very bright kid coming from a Calcutta-based Marwari business background, and I think you were number 37 in the CA exams, if I'm not wrong. And with that kind of bright academic career, and what was your beginnings like?
So frankly, of course, coming from Calcutta, which is, of course, being a metro, but still a smaller city compared to Bombay, we came from a joint family, a typical Marwari joint family, where my father and my uncles, we all lived together. And we were 9 cousins actually growing up together. And so the boys of the family really kind of joined the family business really early on. The girls really, as Priyanka mentioned, I was the first girl in my family to actually pursue any post-graduation course and to even work outside the family board, actually.
So can you just shed some light on what was the business like, and what was the structure at that point, and how did the next generation take over from there?
My father was into manufacturing hosiery fabrics. The business was started by my father. He set up base. He went to a small town called Tirupur, which is in South India in Tamil Nadu. And around 40 years back, I would say 45 years back, there were no basic amenities, there was no food, there was no lodging. And he went to that small village to set up his factory there. Of course, things grew from there, and brick by brick, and that's how the business kind of took off. And now it's one of the leading hosiery manufacturers of the country.
But how was it for you in terms of career? Did you think you would have a career? Did you have any thoughts while growing up?
I would say till 12th, I wasn't even actually very career oriented. Because around me, the environment, the ecosystem was such that the girls of the house were getting married into other, kind of affluent Marwari business families. And I kind of, that kind of became my desire. That, oh wow, this is such a good way to live. So that became my aspiration, which was so misguided. I think coming into the academic space also happened very much by chance for me. I actually wanted to go to Delhi to pursue my economic honors. Unfortunately, my grandmother was not in favor because, and she just felt that those 3 to 4 years were crucial for me to imbibe the family values and kind of gain the premarital, training. Because till 12, exactly, to be the perfect mom. And since I did not get that option, I was kind of like, okay, now let me see what I can do back in Calcutta. So I joined Chartered Accountancy just by fluke. I gave up, I filled up my form just as a matter of chance. I was like, okay, let me give it a shot and let me just see what happens.
So how invested you were, or how open the people at the other end were to include you into the business?
I think you've got it right that when I joined my father's business, but that was more of a learning graph for me. because I knew that I wouldn't continue here. It was just an unsaid thing that, once you get married into a business family, okay, you work there. But probably the dynamics wouldn't really work in my favor if I still continued working with my dad's business.
So you're a CA and a CL.
Yeah. My mother's only worry was that if you're studying so much, none of the Marwari boys actually study so much. So please stop. She was like, okay, you've done your CA, I'm glad, but don't pursue anything further.
Yeah. So let's talk to Nikita. I think you've been listening to the other two stories, and I think you've been working very closely with your father in the investment business, and you're very robustly, working with the organization and also restructuring it in terms of the succession and everything. So tell us, how was your childhood and how was your family business structure at that point? And
so like them, very similar. We come from a joint family on my dad's side. They're 3 brothers. They run the business together. So growing up, we were again 7, 8 of us in the house, and so very protected life initially. And having said that, on the work front, while my chachas and my taujis were at the back end of things, my dad was always the face of the organization. So I was lucky enough to experience that very early on. I would tag along with him to all his social events, networking events, and that's where most of my learning came in. So I think indirectly, directly, I was being groomed from childhood to take on this responsibility of joining the family business, and I didn't realize it then actually. So I wanted to pursue medicine at some point, and luckily my parents did not steer me in the direction that they thought was the right one. They let me make my decisions. So I went ahead and enrolled myself into a medical college, and then realized this is not something I want to pursue. And I think only on my graduation day did my dad tell me that I've always wanted this for us, that for you to come and work with me. And I don't think it struck me before that. But I was sort of very different from my other cousins in the sense that I don't think they were given this platform, honestly. And that is why I am the only girl child from the family who joined the business. I was also one of the first ones to step out to study.
Very interesting. So what about your siblings and your cousins? What was that structure like?
So for others, it was by default that the oldest child, male child, will take over their business. And for my dad, somehow that didn't matter. And I think he gave me and my brother equal opportunities to, if not equal, I think I was a little more preferred child when it came to joining the business. So I think that was very different.
So Nikita, how was your mom's role in your growing up? Since you were so, you seem to be having a lot of influence of your father as you were growing up. How was her thought process when it came to your career choices?
I think mom, despite the fact that she came from a very small village in Rajasthan, I think her perspective mattered the most for our unit. Even today, I think she's far more forward-looking than anybody else, and that is what I think encouraged me to move ahead in this direction. So she's been the biggest cheerleader, and she's the one who's insisting from day one that I should have a career of my own, I should be independent.
So moving on to our second phase, let's talk about that. So when you met your potential partner at that point, did you have any expectations about you joining his business, or did you think that that's not even going to be on the table? How was that for you?
So honestly, I thought it was just unsaid, "Ki wo hone wala hai," which eventually didn't happen.
That you would join it?
Yeah.
Right.
And later I realized that the family that I got married in, they had a very clear distinction that, as a bahu of the house, you're free to do what you want, but you can't join the main business. And that came from their ancestral tradition. So initially it was a setback mentally, because all of a sudden I was like, okay, so now what do I do? And I think I was blessed to have my daughter early on in my marriage. About a year and a half into marriage, I had her, and she kind of became the driving factor in my life. Because now it was like, okay, now I have a daughter in my life and I want to be a female role model for her. So when I looked up, it was always a male figure like my dad or my father-in-law that, they were my icons. And every time I looked at my daughter, I was like, okay, how am I going to raise her if I don't raise myself?
So as you said, just going back, that you had a little bit of a setback when you were told that you were not going to be part of the family business. How did that, how long did it take you to come out of that, and how was that phase for you?
I don't think it took long to come out of it. The question of how do I really contribute and make an impact was something that I'm still, I don't think I'm like there yet, where I'm very set and 100% sure. But people around me used to ask me that, ki khana bana lo, ghar ko saja lo, and I was doing it all, but that didn't give me the satisfaction. So that was constantly a driving factor. And I think even for the family to accept that there's like a new type of female suddenly in the house, and I was the eldest daughter-in-law. So for them, it was like, kyun karna hai? Matlab, kya zarurat hai? Like, you just enjoy, you go to the movies and sab ho raha tha. But that doesn't give you, I think, that meaning to your life, So you kind of always feel that there's something amiss.
What is the toughest part about the second phase of your life, which no one warns you about, specifically in the area of your career?
So I think, as we were initially talking, that for a female in a business family, you don't have a set roadmap to follow. You're not a professional, so you're not like going up in a company structure. You're not a business woman per se. So I think that is stuff that har kadam pe aap khud ke liye create kar rahe ho. For male members of a business family, especially if you come from a legacy heritage, you have some sort of a set thing. Ki aapko, at least you get trained in that. And then it's up to you to say, okay, how ambitious am I to grow it? Yahan pe you're never trained. You're just kind of expected to figure out, what are you going to do with your life, and how are you going to raise your kids, and there's no training per se. So I think that is definitely a tough thing.
Yeah. Just posing the same set of questions to you, Payal, that once you kind of started to think about marriage, your potential partner came in the picture, was there ever joining the family business on the cards, and were you upfront about it in the beginning?
So frankly speaking, arranged marriage was the way to go, really. But having said that, I was very clear that I wanted to work. Of course, naturally, it would mean working in the family business, because Marwari bahus weren't really allowed to step out. Kisi aur ke liye kaam nahi karna hai. So that was a safe thing. So yes, when I met my husband, that was the only thing that I actually said, that I want to work after marriage. Actually, after I got married, pretty soon into my marriage, I joined KPMG, which is a big four leading audit firms across the globe. At the day that I joined KPMG, a week into it, we were asked to go on an off-site to Manali for 4 days. And I was petrified when I heard it. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to say it back home? But he was like, oh, why not? You must go. This is the best way to integrate with the team. This is how you will kind of get to know your co-workers, your peers. And yeah, so he was kind of behind me all throughout.
And the other family members, were they equally supportive?
My mother-in-law was. She said, we didn't have like domestic help, and we didn't have so many resources when we were your age. And why should you not, take advantage, leverage the resources you have to do something else?
Let's talk about what's the toughest part about this whole scenario, which no one warns you about.
So I think the toughest part for me was to navigate the relationship with my husband, actually. Because you might tend to get a bit competitive when you're in the same workspace.
You mentioned that you were in KPMG for about 6 months?
For a year.
For a year. And then why did you choose to leave KPMG and then move to your husband's business?
So I was asked, actually. So KPMG, honestly, it wasn't sustainable. If I have to continue and I have to think about my own family.
So it was your choice?
Yes, I was asked, and then of course I made that conscious decision to come out of the corporate job profile and join the family business. So when you had asked us about the profile and all, like, of course, the father's business or the husband's business, there was actually something that really came to my mind, that I wouldn't term it as my husband's business, right? Because if I'm working in that business, it's my business, period.
But she's right. That is one thing that I've also like my aunt told this to me, stop referring it to as your family business or your dad's business or your husband's business. It is your business. You have contributed enough to call it your own. So the day you start calling it your own, that authority that you feel is lacking from the rest of the world around you, will automatically fall in place. So start believing it is yours for it to actually become yours.
And you see, the terminology is so different from the women. However much they might be contributing to the business, the male members, if you see, they never say that it's my father's business. They would never refer it to that. This is my company is what they say. They'll never say that this is my father's company. But we women, having worked all years, we are still at the end of our careers, still refer it, oh, I was working at my husband's company.
Yeah, true. And that
just delegates you to one of the staff roles, like to an employee, like, oh, what's your, this was someone else's and you did a bit. Yeah. So if I'm saying, this is the business that I work in, it's my business.
So Nikita, coming to you.
Well, like typical Marwaris, it was an arranged marriage setup, and I think we connected over business. That's the best part that we. The first time that we spoke, it was so much about what are you doing in your career and what am I doing with my career. So I think our first initial meeting, it almost felt like we are here to, amalgamate two businesses together. And that's the feedback that I went back and gave, like, he would be a great business partner to have. My parents were like, no, that's not what we were there for. I said, that part of life seems sorted.
Looking forward with your new generation coming in, how do you view your children or your child's, role in the family business moving forward?
So for my child, I would definitely not want it to be a situation where he's inherited it just because he carries the surname. I would want him to explore his options. I'm happy if he wants to join the family business, but if he wants to carve his own way ahead, I'm happy to support that as well. Having said that, I would definitely want to create and leave behind something that he would want to join.
How do you view your children, in this new world, especially daughters in the family-led business setup? So, Fire.
I would want my daughters to really carve out and chart out their own territory, their own paths. If they want to join the family business, most welcome to.
So for me, legacy is much more than just this is how the business is run. It's more about what is the message that maybe the family is kind of known by. And that is something that I definitely feel that the children should adopt. Then it really doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy.
Okay, we will try to wrap this up with a little light-hearted rapid fire segment. So we'll start with you since you wanted to do this one. Craziest childhood ambition?
Oh, I wanted to be a pilot.
Wow, okay. If your family business had a theme song, what would it be?
Hum Sach Saath Hai?
If your life were a movie, what would it be called?
Can't think of.
Are we going to get the same questions? We can keep thinking about them in our minds.
Zindagi na milegi dobara, I think.
Zindagi na milegi dobara. Okay. What's your signature power move? Mom, wife, daughter-in-law, director of your company?
Director of my company.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, coming to you, Payal. Craziest childhood ambition?
I think I always wanted to be a business person. I don't know if I actually ever, because that's the thing that I saw. So I just wanted to be behind this huge mahogany desk and sitting and giving instructions to my secretary.
Okay. If your family business had a theme song, what would it be?
I would think for all family businesses, it would be Hum Saath Saath Hai, because that's the only.
So Saath Saath Hai.
Yeah, but still Saath Saath Hai.
Okay. If your life were a movie, what would it be called?
The only thing that came to my mind was Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum.
Nice. And what's your signature power move? Mom, wife, daughter-in-law, mother, director?
Mother.
Okay, cool. Priyanka, craziest childhood ambition?
I think used to be like famous.
All right, you're on your way to that. If your family business had a theme song, what would it be? No, we have to come up with something new.
I'm clearly winning this round.
If your life were a movie, what would it be called?
I don't know, honestly. I don't think any movie has so many twists and turns that I think.
Okay. What's your signature power move? Mom, wife, daughter-in-law, director?
So I think it was like mother and daughter-in-law till about a couple of years ago. But today I think I would say leader of my life.
Okay, that's that. With that, we are going to kind of wrap up this conversation with you ladies. Thank you for being